Um, the other day, Lachlan Henderson, the new chair, was speaking on radio about the timeline for a permanent appointment as coach and indicated it will likely happen during the tour of Pakistan. Are you comfortable with that timeline? Is there any risk it will be a distraction to what you're trying to do on the field?
No, I'm very happy with whatever timelines they want to work within. So no, it won't become a distraction. That'll just be happening in the background. Our focus is firmly on the first test in Rawalpindi, preparation here. We're firmly focused on that as a coaching staff, and what happens outside of that with the process that they run and how that looks and where it fits in is entirely up to the admin base to work through that. And I'm sure that they won't be making that a distraction for us at all, and it'll only be as big as a distraction as what we make of it. And as I said, we're firmly focused on the cricket and the excitement of a tour to Pakistan. The coaching stuff is well and truly in the background for us here.
Just one on the tour itself, and it's been spoken quite a lot about how it's been, I guess, a slightly different preparation because of a lack of data perhaps on recent test cricket in the country and the fact that you guys haven't been for 24 years in itself. I mean, are you keeping quite an open mind about how the team might structure up when you get there? And are you open to being a bit creative with the 11 if needs be?
Yeah, we'll assess the conditions when we get on the ground. We're taking some educated guesses based upon what we're sort of seeing in recent times there. Looking obviously at the PSL, looking at the squares, what potentially it looks like. It's at the back end of their season as well. So, our preparation probably takes on a greater range and probably less specific than what we'd do if we knew exactly what we're getting. So, we're covering all bases there. From turning wickets to potentially wickets with grass on. They've got a sensational pace attack, so we're going to be tested with that. So there's many ways that they can play it, and they're in control of their own conditions. So we feel as though the squad's balanced, enough options for whatever the case may be when we land on the ground. But our preparation range is a lot wider in terms of the conversations that we're having.
And if I could just go one more quick one on Cameron Green specifically, having seen what he did in the Ashes with the ball in terms of both his workload and his wicket taking, are you confident he could perform that third seamer role if you did want to play two spinners?
It's a definite option. That if you did go that way, Cameron Green will bowl a lot more overs in the first innings than potentially what he normally would. But over the course of the game, the spinners would probably pick up a lot more of the work in the back end, the second innings of the game. So it'll probably level out to be exactly the same or similar sort of loads in terms of the game. But we're cautious. It's a long-term journey for Cameron Green, but what he's been able to deliver has been second to none so far. So we're excited by the fact that, yes, he could do that role. And then you've got other options in terms of Mitch Marsh, if you were to bring him in, play two all-rounders. So as I said, we've got great flexibility for whatever we may encompass when we land on the ground.
Cheers, Andrew.
Jasper Bruce.
Thanks, Cole. Hey, Andrew. Just wondering what you made of Marcus Harris's form at state level recently with the bat, and what else he'll have to do to break back into that top order maybe in Pakistan.
Oh, he's going well. He's putting runs on the board. It's not uncommon for Marcus to be making a lot of runs at Sheffield Shield level, and it was encouraging to see him get some one-day runs the other day as well. So, he's in good form. He's an option. We know what he can do. Can he fit into the middle order if something were to go awry there? That's a potential as well. Usman, you would say, is a fair chance to start in the first test match after what he did during this summer. But we've got some options, some competition for spots, and that's always healthy. So if he was to be called upon or he were to start through whatever reason, we feel as though he could do a job. No doubt about that.
Thanks, Andrew.
Lockie McCurdy.
Thanks, Cole. Hey, Andrew. You're part of a generation of players Australian players who haven't been to Pakistan to play in those conditions. What do you think it means to be leading this team on this kind of historic tour over for the first time in over 20 years to be playing over there?
Oh, it's exciting. And I think George Bailey was on the record yesterday, the excitement that we've got a full squad going as well. Some speculation around, potentially people choosing not to travel. All that's been alleviated now. And it's starting to build, and you can see the guys, the excitement within the group. It's a little bit of the unknown as well. And I think that's always exciting as well, going somewhere where people haven't been before. There's no sort of recent trends there. So, we've got a creative element to what we can do as well on the back of, Australian teams not being there for a period of time. It's an exciting opportunity for us as coaches, for the playing group, for the Australian cricket team as a whole. And full credit to the people that have got this tour off the ground.
And there was a bit of talk yesterday on George's conference about the IPL and whether players would be leaving early. But in terms of how the rest of this year looks, with only one T20 match in this Pakistan tour, and I don't think there's any been other confirmed T20 matches on the schedule after the New Zealand tour was sort of cancelled. How do you feel about preparation for the World Cup later this year? And do you think that getting players into tournaments like the IPL is going to play a really important part?
Oh, no doubt. I think the quality of the IPL can coexist with our preparation for our players for a T20 World Cup. And there was no greater example than Josh Hazlewood going to the IPL before the World Cup, getting a nice build in, getting a nice lead in. So yeah, there's great benefits to be had by playing at that level, being exposed to those conditions, and the conversations that happen within the IPL franchises. All the countries converging on one. And I've said this before that 2008 was almost a moment where the game accelerated and it was played differently. And I think that was really through the coming together of ideas. Nations mixing with each other, players mixing, coaches mixing, and it took the game forward. And we've seen an exciting product ever since. So yeah, we're excited by our players playing there. We want more players playing in there if we can to get that exposure. But we'll have plenty of T20 games leading into the World Cup. It'll be almost like we don't probably want too many, if that makes sense. We've got to get them through a season, build them in there. And yeah, that preparation phase, no doubt, in the T20 World Cup, the IPL will help in April and May.
Thanks, mate.
Braden Ingram.
G'day, Andrew. Given you've spoken about the fact that you want to focus on the series and this process is going to be run, have you already given Cricket Australia an indication of what your thinking is in regards to the role full-time?
No, I haven't had any conversations either way. It was really just bedding down the interim role to the end of Pakistan, getting to work on the preparation, getting to work on the team. We've got some new inclusions in the squad. We've got some guys that are coming into quarantine that are on standby. So just trying to bring it all together to give ourselves the best opportunity to go over there and succeed. And that's been the focus. So no conversations had anywhere up or down.
When do you think you'll put your mind to that, whether you do want it? Is it after the series, or given the process being run, it'll need to be done before that?
Clearly, I'll have to make a decision before that if the process is run to the timeline that Cricket Australia are giving. I'll work through it once we see what the job looks like. There's been some speculation around split roles or whether it's one coach and all that type of thing. So that'll all come out. But I think the key thing for us is to focus on the cricket, and that's what we're here to do. We've got a big job in the next 3 days, getting the preparation right, getting on that plane, making sure we get the preparation right when we land on the ground. So that's where our thoughts are firmly focused, to give these players the best opportunity to succeed come Test match 1 Rawalpindi. And you've got to start fast in a 3 Test match series. So yeah, no thoughts have been given to that. It's all about preparation, about the team, and about bringing this group together.
Have you had to change your approach, given you've stepped into the lead role in an interim basis, obviously, but have you had to change the way you go about it, or is it pretty similar for you?
I think the style is similar. I think the relationships, obviously you're managing staff more as a head coach. The simple thing that my conversations with Paddy go from a bowling conversation to a more holistic conversation around the team, being captain coach. So there's some small shifts within that, but I'm hoping the style hasn't changed too much. That's up to others to discuss and critique. But I'll just try to be myself in this role, do the best job I can up until the end of the Pakistan series.
Andrew Ramsey.
Oh, thanks, Cole. Hi, Andrew. I just had a question about David Warner. Obviously, it was pretty tough batting conditions during that Ashes series, but I think it was his sort of slowest scoring rate in a home Test series of his career. I'm just wondering whether you look at him, that he's sort of in the, dare I say, autumn of his playing days, whether you look at him taking a bit more of a measured role at the top of the order, or is he, because he's such a distractive and sort of rare talent to go hard at bowlers, do you want him to keep doing that, especially on subcontinent pitches where you can score quite quickly?
I think he'll sum up the conditions and play accordingly. It was difficult during this Ashes. There's no doubt 2 pink ball games plus some grass on wickets made it difficult to for the opening batters. And we saw probably in Melbourne, we saw what he can do. That was a difficult wicket. I think he was almost a runnable 38. So I think he sums up the conditions. There's always speculation about players when they're at when they're in their mid-30s around whether they can or can't do it still. We saw the speculation leading into the World Cup. He's a world-class performer, and he's going to Pakistan. He'll be ready. His preparation will be spot on, and he'll sum up the conditions when that first ball's bowled. And I'm expecting him to lead the way as a senior player. There's no doubt about that.
Raj.
Thanks, Cole. Hi, Andrew. You just mentioned words like, excitement and the fact that unknowns and all those kind of words. But traveling to Pakistan, have all the players kind of bought into the idea, and are they all on the same page? Is there any fears or doubts going into a country where you haven't been last 2 decades?
I think a lot of those doubts were alleviated by the process that CA went through. If you're directly talking about security and no doubt the pandemic with COVID, what does that all look like? So, there was a lot of information flowing leading into this series, and I think that information has cleared the thoughts of the players, and they do have an option not to tour. They're jumping on the plane. So that to me says that they're ready to go, and they're clear in their mind that, it's going to be safe and it's an exciting tour, and they're getting their heads around the cricket as opposed to, the other things that potentially can crop into their mind.
And cricket-wise, everyone talks about Pakistan and the unpredictability of Pakistan. What do you make of them as a team, and how much have you kind of, assessed them in terms of, have they improved or have they kind of stayed the same way when they used to play in UAE?
Yeah, well, it's difficult to tell in terms of, Pakistan in Pakistan is different to Pakistan in the UAE. They've got some great options, spin bowling options that, their fast bowlers, Shaheen Shah Afridi, keeps getting better every year. Left arm pace, swings the ball, can reverse swing the ball as well. So they've got some exciting players. Equally, we've got some really exciting players as well. And Mitchell Stark and Cummins and Hazelwood and Green, and our bowling attack is, equally as exciting. So I think it's going to be a really good contest. You say that Pakistan are unpredictable, but I think in their own conditions, there's an element of predictability. They like to draw games out. They play the long game. They're patient, and they play their conditions well. And it's been well documented that Australian teams travelling to the subcontinent have had difficulty, and that's an exciting challenge for us. A lot of these guys haven't played in Pakistan. None of them have played in Pakistan. A few of them have been to the subcontinent before in India and the UAE. So they've got some experience under their belt. But as I said, it's an exciting prospect going to Pakistan. First time the tour's happened in decades, and that's the exciting part about it. A little bit of the unknown creates that excitement.
Thanks.
Last one here by the looks, guys. Afnan Malik.
Thank you very much, Cole. Hi, Andrew. Just a quick question. As we have seen that Australia hasn't visited Pakistan since '98. It's been 24 years. But there are a couple of players like Stark and Hazelwood, those who have traveled to Pakistan and played for under-19 in 2007. How do you see their experience, whether it will help this squad or not?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, 2007 to 2022, wickets, opposition, all those types of things, I think it would be vastly different. And it's like trying to make comparisons with what happened in 1998. So it's a new era, different people, different personnel. So we get a chance to write our own chapter in obviously the Pakistan journey, Australian teams touring there.
Thanks, Andrew.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. That's the last question. And thanks to Andrew McDonald for joining us again today. We'll catch up with all of you guys the next time. Thank you.